And like most of the top order on the Pakistan side, a well-performed player, 4 centuries and 22 50s already at just 25 years of age.
Well, 100 one-day international wickets now for Danny Morrison. And if you remembered his first, you'll certainly remember his 100th, because that's a classic delivery for a fast bowler. See it here from back in New Zealand stump vision. Pitches middle stump, just leaves the batsman just a shade and takes off stump. Didn't help himself, Ramiz Raja, because he tried to hit it through the onside. Perhaps should have been playing a little bit straighter than that, but he's on his way.
Now it's Morrison to Inzamam. Oh, just away. Took a leading edge. Tried to turn it on the leg side and very nearly caught in the gully.
Very nearly the end of Inzamam al-Haq. Looking to play it down the onside. It was drifting down leg side. Turned the bat too quickly and a leading edge. The spearing dive from Deepak Patel in the gully. What might have been. A couple of good overs from Pakistan, but 2 good little red dots there for New Zealand. Against the block bash. In other words, he'll block, and then he gets a bit of whip or anything remotely short, and away it goes. No time
with his shot here, wasn't he?
Yeah, no time. He perhaps tried to hit it a wee bit too hard. Slap on the back leg there.
There's the bash. And not a very convincing shot as it staggers its way out towards the boundary. And they get 2. Well, that was almost a rush of blood, really. Happy spectators here at Lancaster Park. Why not? 31 for 2. Pakistan batting first in the second bank of New Zealand one-dayer. And that's on the air, and that one's flying away to the fence. Unusual looking shot, but most effective, as Patel gave it some width and 4 runs.
Well, I'm not sure Deepak Patel can quite believe this shot, because it wasn't that bad a ball. It's just outside off stump. Wasn't that short. Smashed it behind point. So there's the block bash attitude.
Well, yes, indeed. I think even Lance would probably admit that Chris is a better batsman. Although Lance did put him over the fence more often than not. Good start. Right up in the block hole. And a run taken by Inzamam.
Sunday morning today for the Sunday papers. The Sunday banner competition here.
Some people go to a lot of trouble with these banners. In fact, the winners in Dunedin apparently took 6 hours to get theirs together. A bit lucky. It's another single, though, for Ijaz, who's living perhaps a little dangerously out there today.
Fortune favours the brave, Grant. It's short, wasn't that wide.
End of Chris Cairns' first over, so after 10, it's 37 for 2. That's not too convincing, but he's got it away to an area that's very difficult to protect. Stephen Fleming may lose this race. Yes, he does. A valiant attempt, and that's a boundary through the slips.
There's a comfortable one there, but Commander has been some dodgy running between the two.
Yes, definitely there's not much understanding between the two. They're picking up singles, but the running between wickets is not very good, really.
Flipped away by Inzamam. There's a long chase there, and he's going to lose it. So Inzamam off to an edgy start. Could have been caught first ball, but showing signs now that he's coming into form. Wasim Akram won the toss this morning. Pakistan batting, no change to the Pakistan or New Zealand teams. Patel to bowl over number 13.
We've got to make sure that the Pakistan batsmen don't play too many shots, as they did in Carisbrook, and lost wickets at regular intervals.
Ball, good.
May have hurt himself in doing that. Full swing today. Pakistanis have some fans here as well. Just trying to get it through. This is good bowling by Patel. 5-dot ball.
Yes, keeping it tight, very economical as well. Has picked up a wicket. Not easy to get him away.
Last ball of his 7th over. And Ijaz able to get that away for 1. Another good over for New Zealand though. Just 1 from it. And Pakistan 49 for 2. Here we are before Christmas. And this is the last international game that will be played at Lancaster Park this season.
And a good crowd as well at the start of the play. And a very enthusiastic crowd as well.
Yes, so if you're in the area, come on down, support the New Zealand team. Good ball. Chris Cairns beats the outside edge of Ijaz's bat. Patel ripping through his overs very quickly. Pressure is on Inzamam now. And he edges it away. Saw that a couple of overs ago. It was a top edge that went for 4. This will be close, but Loveridge will be able to pull that in. And they get 3. And that brings up the Pakistan 50. I noticed the 2 batsmen had a chat between overs. And obviously looking to cash in on the last couple of overs from Patel.
Yes, to have in the last couple of overs developed a bit of understanding there. Running between the wicket, they are picking up singles, so rather with much more confidence.
He's beaten the field there. Ferrari has the chase down towards 3rd man. There's a comfortable 2. Very experienced international player. Of course, those halcyon days of the World Cup, 1992, which is when we first saw him open the bowling. It's a tactic that's been resurrected here and in Dunedin as well. 33 wickets.
It's a very used one-day player, Patel.
Full toss on his LBW. Ijaz Ahmed, the 3rd wicket to go. 61 for 3, success for Cairns, first ball of his 5th over.
That's good wicket to have that of Pajaram. This was a full toss. Front of the wicket, there's no doubt about it.
So Chris Cairns has 1 for 10. Ijaz on his way for 14. Pakistan 61 for 3.
That's 2 there. Probably sitting in the changing room, wondering if he actually had a bat in his hand for that delivery. Quite extraordinary, really.
Yes, it was definitely out. Full toss hitting him about the shin height, wasn't it? Hitting about middle and off. So Sully Malik's taken guard. He's all set to go. Chris Cairns. He's going to pick one to get underway. And Sully Malik is here because of this.
Look how he gets squared right around, almost ends up playing French cricket. Trying to play right across it. Really need an umpire for that one.
No, he got tangled up completely. Gavin Larson, his reaction tells the story.
The wicket New Zealand really need. Get him starting to bowl themselves into a winning position. They've started this game very well.
That's a good ball. It is a good ball. Just on that niggling sort of a length and that very difficult line. Doesn't know whether to play it or not. But that's the end of a good over as we have another look at this delivery. The perfect one-day one. Too many wickets for a liking, or for the Pakistan's liking, not for New Zealand's from their point of view.
Yes, the openers were just getting established. Pakistan lost its first wicket.
Nearly a leading edge here. That's a good ball. Just hung up a bit. Maybe Mushtaq will be difficult, John.
Yes, he'll get some turn. Patel's bowled well though this morning. good line.
Looking again to just dab it down if he can. Can't get it fine enough.
Young's probably gone a little bit finer there. Inzamam's favoured that little deflection. It's up the fielder just to position himself finer.
Just paddles that one around the corner. It's going fine. It's going to run all the way. That was well played in the end because he changed his mind but caught up with it nicely.
This is a beautiful shot. How still he is. He just waits for the ball to arrive, uses the pace of it. Just paddled it round with his top hat. Very high-class shot. And we see Gavin Larson coming into the attack. He is New Zealand's best one-day bowler as far as economy goes. Done a great job over the years. Bowled very straight.
Ball, Gav. Great
Gavin
start.
Larson settles in. First ball. Very much a trademark of Gavin Larson. Line and length on about middle and on. Used for the test match. That's why it's a bit dusty, particularly around the crease areas. Gavin Larson settling down. This is the first run off his bowling.
Malik is a vastly experienced player. He's currently played 211 one-day internationals. 211. It used to be the other way around, the odd one-dayer, but only dominated by the tests. And now, of course, that's all changed. What the customer wants, good, exciting one-day cricket.
Ball, Gav.
And look, wicket on the league side, but just really middle it too well.
He's been very strong behind the wicket. And that's unusual for Inzamam because he's usually a player that gets on the front foot and is very strong forward the wicket. And what it really does show you is that he has the ability to play right around the wicket. He's a high-class player. So we may see some shots through cover mid-on, mid-off later in his innings. But New Zealand won't want any of that. They'll want to get him back in the pavilion.
So we're going to change commentators. Now Grant Nisbet coming in with Ian Smith. It's a reflective time for Leon Nash. Oh, now was there a nick on that?
The reaction from the bowler suggests there was a big nick on it. I don't see the pitch. We might hear something.
Yes, I think so, Smithy.
It's definitely on the second replay. There was two sounds.
It was a nice warm day in Christchurch. Still, the breeze is coming from the north, it would seem. And let's hope it stays that way because the weather is supposed to turn and come back to us from the south. Now Roger Toos has some work to do here. And he did it well. Off the last ball of the Larson over, so we're halfway through, 25 overs, and Pakistan 86 for 3. Thinking about a second here, and they're going to go. Astle goes to the far end, but that's good running by the two batsmen. Very positive that time, and away they went. That's beautifully played, and that's going to be 4 runs. He timed that one, and the fieldsman might have taken a little bit off at Danny Morrison.
Well, at this stage of the effort, he really only has to have 4 men inside the circle, apart from himself, of course, the wicketkeeper and the bowler. So there are the options there to put a man back at cover on the boundary, protect there, or perhaps even a man down at mid-off.
Just at this moment, Gavin Larson is New Zealand's most expensive bowler. If you look to the extreme right there, 4.3 off each over. Unusual. Inzamam wants a single. They'll take the single. That'll be the 100. So the 100 ticks over for 3 wickets at the end of 29 overs.
Bowling change here for New Zealand.
It's important for New Zealand that Danny Morrison regaining some form and confidence. I don't think he's too far off the mark.
He bowled Ramiz Raj with an absolute beauty this morning to take his 100th wicket in one-day international cricket. The 5th New Zealand bowler to reach that mark.
Inzamam certainly getting most of his runs back with a point, 21 runs. It's just that little dab shot or the cut shot, 16 runs behind square on the leg side. That's the little deflection off the hip on the fine leg. Very few runs really in front of the wicket. It suggests that New Zealand bowlers have perhaps been just a little bit wide of the off stump or drifted down the leg side.
Pulled away by Nzamam. The two fielders out there, but he's found the gap. When you were talking about short, Danny Morrison dug that one in.
Well, this is certainly the danger time for New Zealand because Nzamam has been there a long time now. New bowler just coming back into the attack. Perhaps a little bit stiff, not quite back into his rhythm. And Nzamam will take heavy toll, as will Salim Malik. Of course, Danny Morrison has come back. 32 overs on the board, nearly completed. That ball will be a little bit softer, a lot older, very little movement in the air. He's certainly going to get very little assistance off the seam, whereas in that new opening spell that he had, I think he could have been potentially used more so.
And there is Nzamam's 50 off the last ball of the 32nd over. And Pakistan 113 for 3. There was some turn there for Patel, which will make Mushtaq Ahmed interesting later this afternoon.
You think the Pakistanis noticed that?
I have a feeling they might have.
And of course, if the finger spinner, like Deepak Patel, the off spinner is getting the ball to turn, then certainly the wrist spinner, Mushtaq, is potentially that much more lethal.
Well, some indecision there. It started to go. And they've conceded a run in the New Zealand field with an overthrow.
Won't help Danny Morrison at all. An unnecessary throw there from Adam Perori, and the man backing up there just caught a little bit out of position.
Shorts tried to pull it away.
New Zealand very much in the game, keeping this run rate down to 3.45. I think it's a very, very good performance indeed out there. And of course, they can restrict Pakistan to the 200 mark. I think that'd be quite exceptional. So once it gets to 220 to 240, then it's a totally different ball game, and perhaps Nzamam realises now is the time to go.
He's tried to go again. He suffered a nasty blow this time. That hurt.
Yes, well, there certainly was a real crack there. Danny Morrison just might have deceived him with a little bit of extra pace. We've seen two similar sort of shots in the last two deliveries. So quite clearly Nzamam was really looking to get on with it. It looks like he's helped that on, maybe from his glove onto his arm. Just a little bit of pain. Drops the bat, walks away, gathers himself. Quicker than Danny Morrison. He has been timed up around about the 135 mark in the past.
Well, there's Nzamam's answer. Slashes it square. Good try by Loveridge. Just missed it. Over number 34 comes to an end. It's 120 for 3.
Seats.
Oh, he's gone for the big shot here. And hit it that well, top edge, but he gets one anyway. That's a good shot from Salim Malik. Races away to the extra cover boundary. Just stood, hit it on the out, but hit it very well indeed. This is the crunch time now. We've got 13 overs to go. And 7 wickets in hand, Pakistan. 2 batsmen in. It's probably about launch time, I would imagine. Maybe not the big slog, but they'll look to step it up considerably.
If I was in the Pakistan coach's shoes, I'd want to see Nzamam bat through.
Well, he has a thrash at it. Not a very good-looking shot, but well bowled by Astley. Kicked it in tight for the batsman and restricted his room.
Yes,
certainly putting the onus on the bowler, but I'd like to see him bat through, the other players bat around him.
Right, John, it's probably a good policy, but... Pulls that one. That's a good shot. He's avoided the field. Well placed. He helped it round the corner, but he knew the man was forward of square, and he found the gap and got 4.
It was a beautifully improvised shot. He played for the gap. There were 2 men out there, one in front of square and one at fine leg. Inzerman knows that. He's played for the gap.
He's going to pick up just 1 here, I think. The field being organised, we've had a change of bat, and looks like a few balloons have drifted off. The sky could disappear shortly. Yes, could become a hang glider, couldn't he?
From this nor'wester, they could go anywhere.
So, Gavin Larson. Oh, it's in the air, and it's safe. Well, he placed that. He knew the man was deep but straight at long off, and he tried to get it a little wider, and he achieved that. Couldn't get much way on the shot, but it landed very safely.
Shot of the highest class. Knows where the field is. Chipping the ball out.
Full toss. Round the corner it goes. Safely. Leverage round. They're coming back for 2. It may be times a mix-up here. He's hit the stumps, but at the wrong end. Dear oh me, it was a good throw, but both batsmen, certainly one of them, was in at the striker's end, and no one was home at the non-striker's end.
This is one of the few occasions that Inzerman has shown any energy at all for getting 2. I think he wanted to hit that ball fine, and this is a great piece of fielding. Wonderful throw from Greg Loveridge.
I think it's time to strap yourself in, Grant, so to speak, and sit back for 10 overs of big hitting. Ball.
Swung away on the ground, not timed. And another run for Inzerman. There's the Manhattan for the Pakistani side. You can see they're starting to pick it up.
Shows some very clever batting too by these, this pair in particular. Neither in spot of bother.
Knocked away on the offside. Loveridge closing on it. And, oh, he did well to get there. And then just lost his footing at the wrong moment. And 4 runs.
Bit of luck here and there. The odd shot in the air, landing safely. And the odd ricochet as well.
Away again. Good shot. That beats Danny Morrison. That's beautifully played by Sully Malik for 4.
The New Zealanders can a little bit concerned now. They've seen 35, 36 overs of pretty good work going to seed here.
Gavin Larson goes on the onside with another good hit. Loveridge after it. The ball wins the race though. Sully Malik really coming to his own now. Run rate creeps over 4. That's a good stop. The fine leg is up. He has to make some diving saves like that. Previous game, the pressure was on the New Zealand batsmen. Well, it may well be later, but at the moment it's on the fieldsmen and on the bowlers. Heaved away by Inzerman. That's a big hit. That's 6.
That's a magnificent shot from Inzerman. Once again, the length has helped him just a little bit. He's gone away to leg side, but look how the ball's just bounced up nicely into the hitting zone. And I just feel that the bowlers have got to start looking very much at their leg.
It's a better leg from Larson. What you guys with him? End of the over, 171 for 3.
He's got 3 men in the circle on the offside. He's only got the 1 on the onside, and he's well in front of square leg, so he cannot afford to go leg side. Roger 2s. Anything leg side, it could be whipped fine. Certainly smashed through that area.
certainly going to bowl full as Salim Malik takes a single, and that's his 50. Very good innings from the veteran Pakistani player. New Zealand have Stephen Fleming back in the pavilion as we look at the run chart for Salim Malik. Some big drives on the offside. Just
Good
late. And this is pretty good bowling from Twos. He's getting it right up there.
Well, one thing the Pakistanis aren't doing, they're not using their feet down the wicket. They are pulling away and showing the bowler the three stumps or go the other side. They're actually advancing towards the bowler, which does give him the opportunity to be consistent in his length. They're not threatening that at all.
Well, that's a good ball. And Salim Malik very nearly didn't reach it. When he did, he almost chopped it onto his stumps.
This is almost a play and a miss this. I think it's gone over the top of this and it's ricocheted off the wicket-keeper.
Larson gets the wicket and Inzamam is out.
Well, it's all about length, isn't it? We said that Gavin Larson the previous over just didn't get it right. Dispatched into the stand and over the rope a couple of times. This is how he frustrates Inzamam. This lands right on the crease line, and it's hard to hit those anywhere. It's just that little gap between the legs. Larson's found it. Magnificent innings from Inzamam al-Haq comes to an end. He's bowled for 80, 1C5 for 4. Was a Macram. He's a true all-rounder. His average doesn't suggest he's done too well in one-day cricket. He wouldn't have had too many opportunities to bat with too many overs left. He had to score pretty freely, 86 against Australia at the MCG.
So Larson coming around the wicket to the left-hander.
I'll give it.
Took a bit of a caning in the last over, Gavin Larson, but he's come back well. Roger Twos, 44th over. Into the air goes Salim Malik. Danny Morrison lines it up and it just drops inside. Well, he misjudged it. He could possibly have taken that. It wasn't a 6.
Well, it's a hard catch because he was always going away from Danny Morrison in the breeze. He did strike it well, but I think Morrison initially thought it was going well over his head. And in effect, this lands inside the line. And perhaps he should have at least got something on it.
Big full toss, and he could only get one run. Right, so here we go. Swung away on the leg side, powerfully hit, but straight out to Loveridge. He's got a lovely throw. Big full toss, catch coming up, taken. A well-judged catch by the substitute Greg. And Salim Malik is out.
I just wonder if later in the day we'll say that this is the turning point in the match because it was there to hit, but it's just a little bit predictable, wasn't he, Salim Malik? And on that occasion, the timing and the place, it wasn't quite there. Very good catch from Loveridge. He enjoyed that. He's had a bit of a working over out there in the outfield from Malik. But in the end, he has something to savour. Good innings, but was it enough for Salim Malik? 58, 185 for 5.
Pakistan coming in at number 7 in the order, replacing Salim Malik. And he's about to take the first ball of the next over, which is over number 45. Here's John Morrison with Kamar Ahmed.
Thank you, Grant. Pakistan, the man who's been out of touch, gets his chance. Salim Malik gone. Pretty good innings. And this is how he went. Big full toss. But Greg Loveridge on the field for Stephen Fleming did the job out in the deep. Yep. Well, it looks a bit like a poodle at times, doesn't it? With that hairdo and plenty of banners. Got the Bank of New Zealand logo. I think it's got a little one on, so it may be eligible for $500. $200 if you haven't got the logo on. Here he is, the man, Chris Cairns. Oh, he's bowled him, has he? No, he hasn't. I thought he had. My mistake. But it's sneaked through somewhere. It's gone for buys. You have another look coming round the wicket, and Dear me, we're just over the top of the stumps.
Attempt to hit it outside the ground and gets an inside edge just at the top of his stumps on the leg side.
So Basit Ali on strike now. This is the 45th over. That's another one that's gone right through. I think that came from the edge of the bat. Yes, it was. So it's 4 runs. Interesting to see the replay on this one. Regardless, it's another 4 to the total. But a fine touch, obviously.
Looks like Basit Ali is inspired by the left-hander Wasim Akram, a similar sort of shot right-handed.
Well, it went right between Lee Jimon's legs, I think. He's the third.
Went between his legs. Yes, very lucky there as well. Basit Ali.
Lee Jimon was as well, wasn't he? And that must be a wide. Devon Larson getting a bit frustrated by this, I think, trying to vary it. And another ball has to be bowled. Danny Morrison, 1 for 28, now with the ball, preparing for the new over. What's a good score, Kumar?
Yes, I think 220 will be a very good score.
Very defendable. Good bowling attack, of course, the Pakistanis. Got a real mixture there. And the wicket he comes, and times it pretty well considering. Races out to point. He's coming back for the second, and safely home. The throw was a little off target from Dipak Patel. Basit Ali.
Basit Ali, not in good form. Basit Ali is having a bad patch. Lot is expected of him. He's highly talented, a lot of promise.
Well, here's a big swing at this one. He's got it clear of the field. It's 4 runs. Well, wide open spaces down there at long on and mid-wicket. There is a man in the deep rounded square, but he's a long way away from that one.
Overpitch delivery on the up and the middle of the bat. Not a fielder there in sight at the long one boundary.
So 200 up for Pakistan, and there we are. The 2 wickets you see. The men that created that big partnership, they're gone, but they're still batting left. Well bowled, leg stump, out of the ground, yocked him. Looking for a little room, sneaked through under the bat, and the result is obvious.
Yes, a very clever piece of bowling there by Danny Morrison. Having seen that Wasim is going all out to hit every delivery. There he is over the Yorker. Just at the bottom of his bat and uproots his leg stump.
So Wasim Akram, the skipper, is gone. A little chat before he departs. 202 for 6. Goes to Park, the keeper batsman, and preferred for the moment over Mohan Khan. What's the story there, Kumar?
Yes, he's a much better keeper, safe hand behind the stumps. He's been making runs since he's come back after retirement, and a very useful cricketer to have. Very safe with his gloves behind the stumps.
So Danny Morrison, successful getting through the defences of Wasim Akram. I suppose it's quite fair to say defences because he was going after him. But a good delivery to get rid of him. Again, up there, turned away. Just forward a square. They're thinking of 2, but Dipak Patel in quickly and a good throw. Thinking about his batting perhaps now as it's drawing near it. A bit of lunch before he comes out to face the music.
Got a safe pair of hands, Spearman. It's a good catch. Both at Carisbrook and here.
Chris Keane is bowling from the southern end. No sign that southerly yet, although the northwester has died away a little bit. I suppose that's a sign that things may be changing. Let's hope not. Oh, he's hammered this one. This will be 4. This is a good shot. Basit Ali may be out of form, but he middles this one.
This is a very strong offside player, Basit Ali, when he gets going. And there he is right down to the pitch of the delivery, driving it with the meat of the bat through the covers.
Good shot, Jamal. Well, bit of a slog, I suppose. We could describe that. And this is sloppy fielding. That's sloppy stuff indeed. Well, Craig Spearman, he's had a good day up until now, and he made a bit of a mess of that one. Should only have been one, but something happened to the throw.
Yes, not very tidy piece of work there by Spearman. Picks up the ball and waits for the throw, and very poor throw, underarm in fact, down the ground, which gives plenty of time to the two batsmen to cross over again.
Straight down the ground, well placed, 4. Well, there's no long on. Long off, couldn't get there. So the score is mounting. The charge is on.
Only an orthodox mid-on there. No one on the long on boundary, and plenty of space there for Basitali. He had seen it.
Someone's going as well as Basit Ali is. They want to try and keep him away from the strike. 19 runs, 40 deliveries.
It's in the air. Now, will anybody get to it? No, it falls in the middle. They might even get a couple. They do, quite comfortably in the finish.
Well, that's adding insult to injury. That ball could have got anywhere. He could have been on his way back to the pavilion. And instead, he ends up taking 2. At the very least, New Zealand have wanted to restrict it to a single. There's Roger 2 swinging vain. Yeah. Really, they waited for each other.
The ball was up there for a long time.
Swing and a miss. It's to me the type of player that likes to use the pace of the ball. The quicker it on.
This is down to fine leg. There is a man in position there.
So he's managing to get bat on ball. Cardinal sin in this situation is to not get bat on ball, because at this stage we've talked about there's plenty of singles there. There's no one stopping the one.
Just the one run again. A lot of discussions going on between the batsmen out there. Good communication. Last ball coming up at the 49th over. Hasn't been a bad over from Cairns. No boundaries. And a miss. So a tidy enough over at this stage from Chris Cairns. 226 for 6. It's for 6. So no doubt John, the Pakistan batsman, would have had a chat and decided on a target.
Yes, I think they'd look at 240. 14 off the over. That would be excellent progress, and New Zealand would settle for anything under 235.
First ball to be bowled to Rashid Latif. Top, beautifully played, and that's 4 runs.
There's a lot of ability in this Pakistan side. Rashid Latif, the keeper. This is a magnificent shot. If you're going to criticise Morrison for anything, it's not quite up there. It's too short. Must have the length. The bounce has given the opportunity to go over the top. To get it up there, very difficult to go over the field.
5 balls left in the innings. This is in the air, and it is well taken by Nathan Astle.
This is actually a very difficult catch. Reasonably difficult. He had to make a bit of ground, but Nathan Astle, he looks a very natural athlete. He made it look very easy. It was actually mid-off catch. He was out on the boundary, but Astle ran around from mid-on and made it look pretty simple. Bit straighter, tried to give it everything, got a lot of height on it. It's not in our shot, but mid-off could have come in, but Astle comes around, takes it very easily.
Yes, Astle took responsibility for the catch. Latif goes. 4 balls left in the innings. 230 for 7. At Lancaster Park, 1 run just conceded. So we have 3 balls left now. Waqar Younis is the new batsman. Basit Ali has taken a single. So the total has gone up to 231 for 7. Waqar Younis. You can give it a nudge too, John.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see his approach, whether he's going to give his partner the strike or actually go for the boundary. He might give his partner the strike. Delivery from Morrison. That's what Ian Smith has talked about. It's full into the straight. Great delivery for the new batsman. Probably would trouble just about any batsman in the Pakistan team. Magnificent delivery from Danny Morrison.
The sort of delivery you'd expect.
Mushtaq, a little leg spinner. Pakistan. Always actually considered him a better performer with the bat than Wacker. The average is not too hot, but he can hit the ball.
Comes in with only 2 balls remaining in the innings. Danny Morrison has 4 wickets today, 4 for 46. So it's been a very good comeback by Morrison.
Yes, he's bowled well today. Hit the stumps.
Away they go. And they get a bye. Well, that's clever play. They were going to go anyway. Very difficult for Lee Jamon standing well back.
Yes, good play from Pakistan. Fun and the enjoyment. One-day cricket. Risks being taken. Basit Ali will be dead keen to face this last delivery. And he will be trying to put it over the boundary.
Here we go. Last ball of the innings. Bowls! 5 wickets for Dan Morrison. And Pakistan stop at 232. Danny Morrison hits the stumps 4 times. And a very good bowling display.
An excellent last over from Danny Morrison. This is another good delivery. It's full and straight. It's all over for Basit Ali. Well, Danny Morrison, but Pakistan have amassed a good total, a good first innings total. Good to see Danny Morrison back to his best.
Elation from Danny Morrison, 5-wicket bag, and Pakistan finished up at the end of 50 overs at 232 for 9.
Well, Inzamam and Salim were mainly responsible for getting Pakistan through to that total. And let's have a look at the Pakistan board. They came together at 61 for 3. They batted sensibly in adding 114, quietly collecting to start with and upping the tempo as the innings went on. Inzamam reached his 50 off 62 balls. Malik reached his off 76. They came together in the 18th over and batted through to the 43rd, but they were out in consecutive overs. And Danny Morrison working his way through the middle and lower order and finishing with 5 wickets. Magnificent bowling from him. He opened up, in fact, with a very good spell. His first wicket, a ball with which he bowled Ramiz Raja, was an absolute beauty. And he's finished with 5 for 46 off 10. Patel bowled his 10 right through. Cairns had Ejaz leg before. Larson unlucky with a couple of edges not being taken. And Astle and Twos also bowling. Twos 1 for 12 off 2.
From the south end of Lancaster Park into this nor'wester, which is still reasonably strong, coming from around about his 3rd man. So, the first ball of the New Zealand chase. And it's a bit of a wide one. All very close, Ian Smith.
Still a keep job with the benefit of the doubt as umpire Chris King. Well, John, positive was the word that came out of the cricket in Dunedin. That's the way New Zealand played.
First run of the New Zealand innings. They may get 2. He's coming back. That's good running. Good positive running.
Yes, it is good running.
Brave Spearman. Only 2 matches. This is the second one. Driving. Good shot. Great shot. That's 4. Well, that was a cracker. Ends the over. 7 without loss. It's probably worth a crack at that one. It was short and wide. He'd be a bit cross with himself, perhaps, for not hitting it.
So short and wide and going wider too. So a little bit of movement off the pitch. New ball.
Well Cup coming up. Very important to Pakistan, being at home. Well, that's a good shot. Maybe dragged across it a little, but it's very successful. Quite go all the way, I don't think. Long boundary up there. And Amir Sahel. Oh, he's nicked it behind. Yes, he's gone. No conviction in the shot. Just paddled at it, really. Waved the wand. Took the edge. Through to the keeper. Straightforward catch. Out.
An early breakthrough for Aqib for Pakistan. And look here at the lack of footwork from Craig Spearman. Just a little bit angry with himself. No footwork at all. Just, as you say, John, really just waving the bat. Just a little shuffle. That wasn't enough. You've got to get from behind it if you want to play those shots. No doubt about it. An easy catch. Well taken. So New Zealand now 13 for 1.
Well, Ryan Young batting number 3, and a very important time for him. Been out of touch, didn't bat that well in Dunedin. Let down the wicket, tried to hit Waka Yunus, and that led to his downfall. So he's on strike. Aqib Javed, the successful bowler, got rid of Craig Spearman. And a bit of movement away from Aqib Javed.
Probably a little bit close too to play the shot to Spearman. He wasn't able to free the arms as much as he would have liked because the line was better than he thought. And in the end, John, you summed it up really. He just waved the wand and got the touch.
There's no real conviction in the shot, was there? I've got the feeling that perhaps he underestimated Aqib Javed. He's not a bad bowler. There's a bit too much anxiousness to hammer the big shot. Well, that's not a bad one. That's how it's done. Through point for 4. Good start for Brian Young.
Beautiful square cut this. And the difference here is it's a little bit wider, a little bit shorter, and he does get the opportunity to free the arms. My word, he plays it well.
So 20 for 1. And Aqib Javed to continue. Not a bad looking shot. Only 1 for it, I imagine. Down to fine leg. A little bit of change of commentators. Grant Nisbet and John Wright coming in.
Thank you, John. Waka Yunus. We'll see him bowling fairly shortly, one would imagine. Was there a nick? There was a nick. Nathan Astle was on his way. Advancing down the pitch, and a second caught behind, and New Zealand again losing 2 quick wickets.
Well, you'd have to question the judgment of coming down the wicket, particularly if you're coming down the line of the leg stump, and really you're defending towards wide mid-off, playing with about half the bat, and it just increases the chances of getting an edge. So that's double disappointment for New Zealand, something you really can't afford when you're chasing 232. So there's a lot of pressure coming on the middle order players.
21 for 2. Missed out in Dunedin, ready to face his first ball.
And he's here because this particular delivery, and Nathan Astle's probably looking at it as we are, and he'll be disappointed.
Satisfactory opening spell from Wasim Akram. 4 overs for 10. He's given way now to Waka Yunus, bowling from this northern end, where he a few days ago got his 200th test wicket. First run here for Stephen Fleming. Pleasantly played away and backward a point. Taking a while to get started, Fleming. Nicely timed by Fleming, a favourite shot of his. And 2 runs through mid-wicket for Stephen Fleming.
It's good to start your innings by playing straight. And there's the worm, and see what's happened after that loss of 2 early wickets, because at that stage New Zealand were going very comfortably, so there was no need really to put the foot down on the accelerator.
Forced away. That's a lovely shot off the back foot, and a super boundary for Stephen Fleming.
This is a good shot from Fleming. It's behind the ball. Times it beautifully. A great effort from the fielder. Want to get his trousers dirty. Lovely timing.
And just look at the placement as well. He's looking very good, Fleming. 32 for 2 now. And over number 11. That's beautifully timed again, and another boundary. Stands up so straight and whips it away. So 2 consecutive boundaries for Stephen Fleming. It's 36 for 2.
I just question Akiv's decision to come round the wicket. He just drifted on the leg side. Stephen Fleming dispatched it beautifully.
Pleasantly pushed away by Young. Long chase for the field. And time for 3 runs for the New Zealand batsman. Basit Ali had a long run back. Look at the timing there. Just leans on it and gets 2 runs.
See the comparisons there. New Zealand just behind Pakistan. Oh, there's a mix-up here. Brian Young gets back, and that would have been a waste to run out on a no ball. Edged it away, wasn't in control of the shot, could be 4, and it is, goes in off. Waqar Younis couldn't grab it in.
The target is not easy for New Zealand. Anything over 4 runs and over is a daunting affair. You've got to have a big partnership going.
Driving, he's got that through. Could well go all the way. It's a big chase for third man, but he won't get there. A small victory for Brian Young.
Yes, that delivery slightly overpitched and well struck. Ajaz not being able to cut it off.
Oh, here's the mix-up. He'll have to hurry. Slow away, Brian Young. He called yes, and didn't seem to have the heart to go on with it.
That's a risky single there. Push on the onside. Amir Sohail, left-hander, picks the ball off, slightly muddled with it, and then throws it at the stumps. Generally a good thrower onto the stumps. Oh, just missed it by inches there. Hit the stumps, he would have gone.
Well, certainly the wind is picking up and is beginning to swing to the south. There are showers on the way.
Thank you, Smithy. Carry on.
Wait.
Oh, he's got it through down there. The man in the deep is racing around the boundary and just makes it. Should get 2 here. Yes, he's turning and coming back. So 67 for 2. Brian Young on 25. Well, he's cut this one. It's going away fine. It's going to be 4. It's got a lot of way on. Glenn Turner, coach. He's got all the new one-day gear. Loud appeal. Mushtaq Ahmed pleading with Chris King. No response.
Well, optimistic, I think, to say the least. This one, he pushes that front foot forward outside the line of off stump. Plays across it somewhat, but Chris King, quite right.
The new over, Amir Sohail. There's one more. What a edge. In fact, he's going to pick up 2. And as the return comes in, we change commentators. Grant Nisbet and John Wright.
Thanks, John. So we're in the 22nd over now. Amir Sahel. Some very intelligent batting going on here, John.
Good sensible stuff. Particularly Stephen Fleming growing in confidence.
Mushtaq Ahmed now to bowl the 23rd over of the innings. He's found the gap. Stephen Fleming, it's gaining in pace. It should go all the way. Yes, it does. Another boundary for Stephen Fleming.
Stephen Fleming is very strong in this area. Mushtaq guilty of drifting wide and short. It's well placed here. Always 4 when it beats the inner ring.
So New Zealand not far away from the required amounts. But only 2 wickets down, remember. Well worked into the gap. Now they might get a second one here. Mossy Macron plays a little bit of soccer unsuccessfully, gets a bit annoyed with himself and fires it in. It's all a bit too late. And they get 2. Fleming is out. He simply missed it. And he's bowled for 48. New Zealand a 98 for 3.
Cricket's a game about angles. Stephen Fleming misjudged the angle. The ball went on with the arm. I would think on the replay that we'll see Sahel went reasonably wide of the crease, yes. And the ball just carried on with the arm and did up to hit that leg stump. It's all about angles.
Big wicket for Pakistan. Fleming departs. New Zealand 98 for 3 in the 26th. A big innings for Adam Perori. He needs to produce. Not only for himself, but certainly for the team today. 98 for 3. The game very evenly poised. The loss of Stephen Fleming.
Come on, boys, come on.
Well, Stephen Fleming's probably looking at this in the pavilion, kicking himself. Sahel. Yeah.
Work by Perori for a single, so he's underway.
Perori's used to being a keeper, primarily, batting secondary. But now, it's just his performance as a batsman that everyone looks to.
Steady innings from Brian Young. Gets a single, that brings up the New Zealand 100.
He stands to the pressure.
The figure to look at is the fact that he's conceding nearly 5 runs and over. 4.9 is his economy rate. So New Zealand should be looking to work him around and try and pick off one of all if they can. Try and get him up over 6. That's what they need anyway.
And look for 2 here. And complete it quite comfortably.
Your turn, boy.
Putting 230 odd.
Swings and out. Amir Sahel pitched it up. Brian Young on the drive. Weight perhaps going on the back foot. He couldn't keep it down. Brian Young's gone. Caught by Wasim Akram of Amir Sahel.
This is something New Zealand didn't need, because when you lose your 2 in batsmen, Stephen Fleming going an over or so before, now Brian Young going, New Zealand have the 2 new batsmen having to come to the crease to re-establish the innings, and so that is not a good dismissal for New Zealand.
28.
Come on, Amir.
It's 107 for 4. Cairns off the mark straight away.
Keane's coming in. This one.
Cairns down the ground. It's a slight misfield. They're coming back for 2. Perori started to go, went back. But Sahel didn't look, and he's thrown the ball away. It may go all the way. That's bad cricket from Sahel. Rashid out of position. So Hale threw the ball. There was no one there to cut it off.
Tries a different version. Is he out? Oh, he dives and misses. Basir Ali. Bit slow to get off the mark, and in the end, he didn't quite make it.
Well, a real error of judgment here because Ferrari's almost picked him out to perfection, and I don't think he has picked it up early enough. Maybe the background, certainly he made a hash of what I think was a realistic catching chance.
So that's the run rate, 3.76. That's a big shot. He's hammered that. And, well, risky fielding down there by Ramesh Raja, but it comes off for him. But just one hand down, Ian, give the coach heart failure.
Well, there's no Linford Christie, is he, Ramesh Raja? So he does struggle to get to them from time to time. But as you say, he got to this one and struggled to get the back down.
Another wide. Well, this is fruitful for New Zealand. A big over wouldn't go astray, Ian.
Well, he's got to get the spanner out and tighten a bolt or two in that right arm, Akib Jabbar, because his bearing is not quite right. It's drifting down the leg side. Just a little message from the captain too. I think we really can't afford this. Akib, my old friend, to get it a bit straighter.
Oh, I brought you on. Now do the job for me. Dave Quested, one of the umpires. Chris King, the other one. And drifting down again, but he gets away with it. That was a bit lucky.
A look at the Manhattan, and Ferrari and Cairns just starting to pick it up again after one over there around about number 36.
It's for him to play straight. I like to see him play straight, to stand up and play straight. He's got all the shots in the book. Just looks to play straight.
Waka Yunus is the bowler. Well, jams it into the leg stump. And that might be a third umpire required here. Chris King has gone for the third umpire. Excellent play by Mushtaq. So let's have a look.
I think he's in by a mile. A bit hard to tell from here. And it's looking as though it's going to be very close. And he's in.
I think he made it, didn't he? Oh, dear me.
It's amazing how close some of these decisions actually are. When you're so used to have been playing without the third umpire, instinctively I would have thought he'd been in by a long way. It's a bit hard to tell there. The umpire's head's got in the way. Cairns is concerned though. Cairns has the ability to play the really big shot. He can take 10 or 12 up and over, no trouble at all.
Oh, hesitation. Another shot at the stumps. Again, it was Mushtaq who had a go.
Well, he who hesitates is lost. It's been another third umpire decision.
So 50 partnership between these two. That'll be the least of worries for them at the moment. They've got another job to do. Smacked away by Cairns. It won't get to the boundary, but they'll have time for two. Might even look for three. Ferrari thought so. Cairns decided against it, so they settled for two. You can just sense the tension starting to rise around the ground as people make their own little calculations about how New Zealand need to get these runs. They need to get to 233. They're up to 167. Right up there and just over the top. It's another run. It's not how, it's how many.
Well, this was excruciatingly close. Slower delivery. Tried to turn on the onside, got a leading edge. And so Hale just couldn't grasp it.
be touch and go. Oh! What a tangle.
Well, you'd have to say it was a great tackle.
Been many great tackles made at Lancaster Park.
Fergie McCormick's just got up out of his seat. Let's have a look at this. We've got the decision. I don't think he had the ball in his hands. Dropped it.
Well, goodness me, he would have been out if the fieldsman had hung on. Oh, he tried to go over the top.
Well,
Shot of the day. So order has been restored. There was a run scored, believe it or not. There we go again. Cairns. That's a boundary. That's the first ball for 19 overs.
well, he might be able to tackle. But Chris Cairns just hammered that. Didn't even bother running.
Down the ground again from Cairns. Ramis is safe this time. Fires it back in. Archer Jarvis' last ball. Smacked away for one. They should look for two here. Cairns is racing back and comfortably completed. So that's a good over from New Zealand. It's 180 for 4.
Go and Waka Yunus and Wazzy Macron can do it themselves. They've got enough overs left in the bank.
In the air. In the gap as well. He's calling for 4 or 6. He's not sure. The rope is in from the fence there.
It's a very good shot, whatever the result. Gives himself a bit of room, and look at the way he just lifts it over the offside. And I think we'll find that this does bounce inside the rope quite comfortably. There you see it. A couple of bounces and into the fence.
So the pressure back on Pakistan with that 4. And the pressure on the field now as well. Chris Cairns' 50 comes up on 57 balls, just 65 minutes. Bit of width for Ferrari, gets it through the gap. Coming back for the second. The throw's wide. See the comparison, very close.
Pakistan fielding just becoming a little bit ragged too now. The standard of throwing not quite so high. It's because New Zealand have taken it to them. This pair have run at them aggressively.
In the air, could be out, and is out. Last ball of the 46th over. Pasadani takes the catch, and a Ferrari on his way.
A bit of bad luck here for Ferrari. The shot was on, he just didn't quite hit it hard enough. Just the flick of the wrist, it was there, it was in the slot. He just spooned it out there to Basadali, who perhaps should have caught him about 30 runs ago. Turns and looks at the crowd as if to say, I got that one anyway. Ferrari has gone a fine knock from him.
The twos at the crease, changing commentators, John Morrison and John Wright.
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, Roger Toos. He really got out there in a hurry when Adam Ferrari went. A bit unlucky, Ferrari picked it up nicely on the half volley, but unfortunately, right down Basadali's throat.
Here's Adam Ferrari's dismissal in the slot, flick of the wrist. Fortunately, he almost hit it too well.
They need wickets, but still 5 wickets in hand, and I'm sure Roger Toos, this man, will look to push singles, give Chris Cairns the strike. Good looking shot to get underway, Roger Toos. And now he's so keen to get Chris Cairns on strike, and as I was just saying, he's conscious of the fact that he should get a single just about every ball. He's got one this time. He may even get two, in fact. Long Arm's got a bit of work to do. They're coming back. And safely enough. So, every run, it's like gold now. That's a good shot by Roger Toos. The fine leg was up. It's always dangerous. And Roger Toos spotted it. Good shot. 212 for 5.
The combination of the left-hander and the right-hander is just compounding Akram's challenges as to change his line. That ball previous to Toos was too wide of the off stump. He's got to get right back on the Ken's leg stump here.
Oh, he thumped this one. He could be out. And he is out. Down at long on. Chris Cairns teeing off. Rummy's Roger down in the deep. He doesn't get hold of it that well. It was ambitious because the man was down there. But Chris Cairns, a good knock. It's all over.
Well, for New Zealand fans, they'll be hoping that this is not the turning point, because all of a sudden New Zealand's task comes much more difficult. Straight down long on's throat. And, well, the game's back on a knife here. Lee Dumont will be desperate to get his side home.
Certainly will. Disappointing in Dunedin on Friday. Played a lot better here. The Pakistani camps in celebration already. But hold all tickets. Well, that's a good-looking shot. Where's it finished up? Goodness me. 4 runs. He hammered that. Well, he's got a sweeper out there, but he's very square. And Lee Jamon, he just gloved that one. So that changes the formula a bit. 13 to win now. 11 balls. He's hit this one high. He could be out, and he is out. Backward point. Buzzard Ali takes the catch. Lee Jamon, he went for it. It was fair enough, but he's gone.
He's a little bit unlucky here, perhaps. Maybe in retrospect he might have wanted to look for the single. Didn't get hold of it. Bassett Ali, this is a good catch. This ball went high. There could have been a decision between the two. The man coming in takes it easily. Took it well.
So, Lee Jamon on his way. 220 now for 7. Patel, it's in the air. He's going to be gone. And he is gone. Dear oh me. Ejazman. Comfortable catch, no question about it. Deepak Patel, he's on his way. So New Zealand are self-destructing, but Gavin Larson is next. So hope is not completely gone.
Well, giving yourself room against a bowler of this pace, you may give yourself room, but you can't move too far away from the line of the ball because it's so difficult to make clean contact. And that's just presented another easy chance to Ejaz.
Gavin Larson's out there.
Yes, now New Zealand equation, they're going to need at least 1 boundary, possibly 2. They've just collected a little bit more circumspectly in this over. The task would have been much easier going with the last over.
Roger Toos, he's teed off and he's going to be caught. Dear oh me, it's one disaster after another. Catching practice for the Pakistanis. Roger Toos, the simplest of catches down to mid-off. They can't believe it, and he's on his way.
Well, this is disappointing. This is a poor shot, again making room. And again, it's just skied up a simple chance. And in the space of this over, New Zealand have lost 3 wickets.
So 2's gone. 3-3 is what's needed. 2-2-1 they're on. So that's 12 runs adrift at the moment and 7 balls. And we've got 1 ball from Waka Yunus, unless he bowls a no ball. And then 6 from Wazim Akram, I imagine. Gavin Larson, he tees off. Is he going to be caught? He could be. Oh, dear oh me. Comes back for 2, so he gets 2 runs. World record holder, number of ducks and test matches on strike, John. And Wazzy Macra, best seamer in the world, possibly. Actually, a nice little French cut would be the story here, wouldn't it? Just beat the keeper through for 4. It's probably the best solution.
Yes, it's the fine of the bet. Offside or onside, who cares?
He'll take anything at the moment. Wazzy Macra on his way. Allowed a field. It was going down leg side, and they've got through for the 1, so Larson's going to be on strike. Leg by call. 9 to win. 5 balls.
Well, this may be close. No, well down leg side. It's well bowled though. Angling in. Pretty hard to hit that anywhere.
So the pressure goes on Gavin Larson. 9 runs from 5 balls. What can he do?
He can become a hero.
Can, yes. I suppose.
Hitting.
Go into the dressing room and join a few others.
Well, I think he has to almost go look to pick him up on the onside, because he likes to hit over extra cover, Gavin, but that's going to be very difficult with the angle that Akram's bowling from.
Oh, big full toss, and that's a no-ball call, and it's racing down to the boundary, won't quite get, but importantly, not only the runs that have been given away, that was too high. If you're above waist high with a full toss, it's a no-ball. Wazzy Macra doesn't like the rule or the ruling.
Let's have a look at this. How high is that? Well, I'd say it's over waist high, and
so 226, 7 to get now from 5. That's opened it up a bit. Interesting decision. Good ball. He stumped it. Oh, he's beaten him. It's 4. Goodness me, it's going to go all the way. Well, 4 runs to Larson. Well, this is hero stuff. If he can do the job.
well, Gavin Larson, he's been a great performer for New Zealand. He will enjoy this shot. He's got to get home. He's got to keep focused. He's done the hard bit. Through extra cover. He loves that area of the ground. He didn't make a lot of room for himself. He didn't move. He just moved offline slightly. Opened up that side of the field.
Well, the good thing, John, it was a good cricket shot, wasn't it? It was a good cricket. It wasn't a slog.
The good thinking percentage cricket shot.
So 3 to win. 4 balls to go now. Decide against it. I think that's wise. Larson might as well stay on strike. It's a difficult situation. 3 balls, 3 runs.
Well, the pressure now goes back on Larson. Morrison must back up. Maybe a single would have been the required result then, and then Morrison looks for the single and missed that opportunity.
Oh, swing and a miss. Now it's getting tight. 2 balls to go. I think it's back to ball story, John. You've got to actually get your back to it. Well, it's easy enough to say, as we've said from up here. But this is knife-edge stuff.
This is getting into the big shot area. Last deliveries particularly was just getting anything on it. Bat, pad, whatever, get a couple of singles. And you're down to 2 deliveries requiring 1. Now it's a bit more difficult.
So there we are, 2 balls to go, 3 runs required. Larson on strike. There's quite a prolonged discussion here. What do they do? I think they've got to take whatever's going. And Gavin Larson's got to look to get back the ball and take his chances. He's hit it, no ball called. He's hanging it over extra cover. They're racing for 2. And the scores are tied now. It's a no ball. Well, it was a good shot. Let's forget about the no ball for a minute. But there we are. The scores are tied. So 1 run to win. Still 2 balls because it was a no ball. And the discussion continues. And he must bring them in now, the field, surely. There's no use having anyone on the boundary because you're going to get a single to the boundary. And he's latched onto that fact, so he's bringing them up. And he's got 2 balls to try and prevent Gavin Larson and Danny Morrison picking up the last run. fair degree of anxiousness creeping in out there, John.
Great pressure, isn't it? Everyone's involved. Gavin Larson must get bat on ball or something.
He's hit it. There it is. He's got 4. Down to third man. Well played, Gavin Larson. A fine over from Gavin Larson. Some wonderful cricket shots to win the game for New Zealand.